Hey everybody, welcome to Brick Vault. Today we're taking a look at the LEGO Star Wars solo set called Moloch's Landspeeder. That is Moloch right there, and that is his very interestingly built Landspeeder. This set is 464 parts. It sells for £45 in the UK, $40 in the US, and €50. So it's actually a pretty decent part to price ratio. It's the best, I think, part to price ratio, particularly in the States. And it pretty much ties it for being one of the best priced sets from this wave, only being even with Han Solo's Landspeeder, which is kind of like a sister set to this one, because I have a feeling they're supposed to be chasing each other around in the movie. Anyways, I'm going to be getting into the build, but first, very quickly, I want to get into the minifigs first, because the minifig from Moloch is really awesome. Now, there's a lot of interesting things that went into the creation of this minifig that make it very unique. I don't know if Moloch is a man or a woman. I do know that he or she is the gang leader, one of the main guys that is going to be going up against Han Solo and the crew. And the first thing I'd like to point out is the new piece that has been made for sort of the robe at the bottom. Normally this used to be a slope piece, but now when you pull it apart, you can see that it has the same sort of bottom pegs that come on minifigure groin pieces, and that allows it to stud into the torso much better. Also, the back is curved a bit, and there's actually a pretty decent amount of printing onto the front and back. The printing itself flows better on this figure for robe detailing, better than any other that has ever come before it, because usually there's only printing on the front version of those slope pieces. Now you've got it on the front and back. The curve looks better, and all around that's just a better piece, and I have a feeling this is just going to be the new industry standard for any type of robed minifigure from now on. That's my guess, and that's nice, because usually new pieces for minifigs often appear first in Star Wars sets, and this is just another case or another aspect of that being the case. Now, the exclusively molded headpiece for Moloch is crazy. It's really cool looking, and also there's no minifigure head stuck underneath it. That is all one part. It doesn't come apart in any other way, and it very much reminds me of the shape of a larva bug. Definitely not the most inviting or friendly looking character, but also feels a bit more mysterious. Moloch has a staff that's brick built, and a really fun fig, probably one of my favorite new minifigs to come from the year 2018. When it comes to this guy, I have a feeling he's another, maybe the right-hand man of Moloch. This is Rebolt. His entire body has detailing to show that he's covered in snow. That is often the case with, with a few of the other figures, especially Han Solo and Kira from the other set. He's got an interesting sort of cap with the cloth that kind of goes all the way around. The top of it has those ridges that remind me of the caps that they used to wear in Endor from Return of the Jedi. Rebolt has two expressions printed on his face, just a little bit of stubble under the chin, and he comes with his whip. And the whip is there, I presume, because he's got to take care of the Karelian Hounds. And I mean, sort of force them into being horrible creatures. That's my guess. The Karelian Hounds are an exclusively molded piece for both this set and another one, the Han Solo set with the speeder. They also have ridge lines along the back, similar to how his hat looks. I don't know if they're made from, the hat is made from this particular creature. I certainly hope that's not the case. But anyways, the mold itself is awesome. Those large shoulders and very evil looking eyes and giant teeth, the print that makes up the teeth, they make it a pretty intimidating looking creature, even though they're not particularly large, maybe only just a little bit larger than that of a molded dog, like a German Shepherd. In this set, you get two of them, and that's sort of a perfect segue to get into all of the features of Moloch's speeder. So, right, the very first feature I'd like to show you guys is the Karelian Hound cage. There are 4 studs on the inside, which means you can sort of perfectly fit these 2 hounds into the studs there, and that is where they kind of rest. These are basically attack dogs. If I had to make a wild guess, I feel like that's a pretty sort of obvious thing there. You have to keep them caged up, because if not, it looks like they'll just run out and maybe attack anybody. I have no idea how wild those beasts are, but they're definitely used by this gang in order to you know, do some kind of nasty enforcement. Now, one of my favorite features on this particular build is the trigger system used to shoot the 6-shot stud shooter in the front. And I've been saying this forever, but I was like, you know what, we don't need really blatant open things that will shoot the trigger system. So it's like, where is it? Is there a big red button here? No. Is there a big red something here? Is there a giant knob that sticks out that you gotta like plunge her in? And the answer is no, no, no. This is the trigger. So I really like this, the way it works. Actually, no, I should set it up this way so you can kind of see how it works. The wheel just spins. There isn't a whole lot of traction, so you just kind of have to press into it. And you can shoot the rest of them just by twisting the little bit of pressure. It's not like the easiest thing to slide, but I like that so much better. The fact that it's a nice bit of detailing. In fact, I think the detailing just looks good just in general. And it, of course, isn't quite as wobbly once you've got all the ammo in there and it kind of stiffens up a little bit. But it's a great trigger system, and I love the fact that it doesn't stick out and kind of detract from the look of this speeder. Now, speaking of the look of this speeder, I feel most can agree that it isn't the, you know, it isn't the nicest looking ship. I mean, in terms of the way it was designed. It is designed to be kind of an ugly, nasty sort of vehicle. It's owned by the bad guy. It's going to kind of reflect the nastiness of the character, and they succeeded quite well. There's a lot of variation with the details here, with the dark gray, the light gray, the dark tan, and then just the textures kind of shift about. We've got a little bit of a clip sticking off there, and then the textures really start to change up when you have the grates, a little bit of greebling along that side, and the textures are, once again, totally different on this side. They don't actually match up. They're not symmetrical from side to side. So I like that. They achieved that look quite well, and what you get at the end is kind of an ugly looking ship, so to speak. So there are a few other sort of functions to the ship. You can see that I've added Moloch in there. Moloch can fit in just right. There's, I think, yeah, 2 studs down there, just enough to get that friction in there. Fits in nice and tight, and they're not going anywhere. So they stand up, Moloch stands up, or any other minifig can fit in there standing. And then the other main bit of function, so to speak, is this sort of storage container that we've got on the inside. We've got 2 different bones, of course. This is for feeding the Karelian hounds. And then 6 more shots, because of course everybody knows stud shooters will make you lose those pieces a lot. There's 1 extra spare, of course, like all of those sets, and that thing fits right in there. Now, when it comes to the last, I suppose, of the main details that I'd like to point out for this ship, it's the wheels. The wheels in the underside of the ship, they're not particularly unique for speeders. We've had this type of sort of treadless wheel attached to the bottom of plenty other ships before in the past, and they're appropriate for speeder type vehicles because of course you get the traction. This thing can roll around pretty easily. There's a lot of smoothness to it, but it's a hover type vehicle. It can speed, and so that means it should be able to kind of slide around a little bit more because there just shouldn't be as much traction. If this was rubber, you couldn't push it. It would want to stay. It could only go forward and backwards, and it wouldn't want to be able to move from side to side. But it's more appropriate for a vehicle like this to actually be able to do this. So I do like that they have that. Also, it's just more of a subtle build anyways. You can't really see it. You're not supposed to be able to see it, so it should kind of give you the illusion that it is hovering around from one place to the next. That also goes the same for Han's speeder as well. It's the same kind of build style, and these 2 sets really kind of complement each other in a big way. Both of these sets have the same, pretty much same part to price ratio, at least within the States. And they do sort of complement each other in so much as they, I believe, are going to be part of sort of the same kind of chase scene that we get from the film. So usually, I just have a feeling that if somebody gets one set, they're probably going to want to get the other one. Maybe this is more of a standalone, and this is definitely, if you get this one, you're probably going to want Han's speeder to chase around too. This does have a lot of fun features. I do think that despite its sort of ugly duckling look, it probably has some of the best and most efficient points of building within any of the sets that came out for this particular wave. A lot of the internal structure just feels so clean and well put together, like adding on little chunks of tiled out areas and just plopping it on at the end and getting some nice solid looks of detailing just as you're building. It was really just kind of a fun and easy way to get the look that it needed to achieve. When it comes to the minifigs, I would say that Moloch is probably one of the coolest Star Wars figs that I've seen in a really long time. Not just because of the awesome head mold, well, maybe just because of that. The head mold is really cool, very larva-like, but also this is one of the very first uses of the new sort of gown piece, and it looks awesome. The printing matches up so well from the very bottom all the way to the top, and the same can be said from this way to the next, but it's just awesome that we get the back gown printing. This is one of the first examples of that ever being the case, so it's awesome to get Moloch in this set. And the Karelian Hounds are kind of a fun little mold. So all together, I would say that, yeah, this is a fun set. I'm down with the part to price ratio. It really is one of the better, more economically priced sets, and it's about on par with the Han Solo set. Oh, hey everybody, hope you enjoyed that video. I just wanted to pop in really quick and say that we do have a web store, brickvault.toys, that sell instructions for super high quality MOCs that are built by incredibly talented designers. So that is the first link in the description below. And also there's other videos too. We've got other things if you want to watch that. All right, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time at Brick Vault.